At Key Stage 3, pupils develop their place knowledge through the study of human and physical geography, and Russia, the world's biggest country by area, is an ideal case study. Many different climates, vegetation zones and soils are found in Russia, ranging from the Arctic and tundra of the north to the grasslands and semi-deserts of the south. From east to west, Russia measures about 6,000 miles and shares its borders with 16 other countries. This massive country began to take shape over 250 million years ago. Giant tectonic plates converged over a million years to help form Russia, which spans Europe and Asia. Today the Ural Mountains mark the line where the plates joined together in the past. Russia is such a large country that it contains global scale variations in relation to climate, vegetation zones and soil. If you were to head due north from Russia's southerly-most border, you would see an amazing range of changes. First, the desert would give way to grasslands. Then small trees would begin to appear, eventually becoming deciduous forests. As the climate turned colder, coniferous forest would take over before giving way to Arctic tundra. The tundra borders the Arctic Ocean on Russia's most northerly border, where sea ice is currently growing thinner due to climate change. In the future, this may open up the Arctic to shipping lanes, allowing ships to cross east and west across Russia's most northerly territory. As well as mapping the physical features of Russia, we can identify different ethnic groups too. In Russia there are more than 190 ethnicities. Moscow is a world city that is home to many diverse groups, including ethnic Russians, Ukrainian Slavs, Chechens and Armenians. Elsewhere, Russia's rural regions are home to some unique cultures, such as the Tatars, Yupik and Udmurt peoples. Russia's human geography illustrates geographical processes of change and continuity throughout this country's history. In successive eras, over hundreds of years, Russia has maintained influence over neighbouring countries such as Ukraine and Georgia. At times, these countries were absorbed to form part of the wider Russian Empire, or between 1917 and 1990 they became part of the Soviet Empire itself. In 1990, with the fall of the Iron Curtain and significant political change within the Soviet Union, 15 countries became independent when the Soviet Union collapsed, leaving Russia as a single nation once again. Between 1917 and 1990, this country was known as the Soviet Union, or USSR, the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics. It became one of the most globally significant states, along with the USA. Soviet Russia and the USA were the two global superpowers during the Cold War of the mid and late 20th century. They competed for control over other countries, often supported opposing sides in a number of conflicts in Asia, Africa and Latin America, and also took part in the space race. This followed the flight of the first satellite Sputnik in 1957, followed by Yuri Gagarin's first manned orbit of the Earth in 1961, and concluded with the US spaceflight to the Moon in 1969. Soviet influence was also much wider than military power and the space race, with Soviet athletes dominating many Olympic sports. However, the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan in 1979 led to the boycott of the 1980 Moscow Olympic Games. In 1990, the Soviet Union experiment ended. The world's biggest country was now called Russia again. Russia continues to be a globally significant place today, but in new ways. Other countries, especially in neighbouring Europe, have economies that are closely interconnected with Russia due to their dependence on Russian gas and oil. Some Eastern European countries get almost all of their gas from Russia. Other European countries and China are important customers too. Due to their connections with Russia, many countries are wary of losing good relationships with it. Russia is still prepared to exert significant influence over its neighbouring countries. For example, in 2014, Russia's army annexed or seized control of a place called Crimea, which borders the Black Sea. Crimea had formerly been part of an independent state called the Ukraine, which in earlier times had been part of the Soviet Empire. Russia has significant military resources, including nuclear weapons, as a result of its involvement in the Cold War. This military power, combined with Russia's extensive gas and oil supplies, make this country one of the most globally influential countries of the modern world. Its massive land area and the global reach of Russian culture and influence make Russia a modern superpower in the 21st century, and a country that geographers should know something about.